Hello beer tubers and welcome to another beer review with me, Peter, the master of hoppets. Today checking out some more beer that I got from Beer Dome from one of their American releases they had a little while back, earlier this year. Was it last year? I think it was earlier this year. They've been standing for a bit. It was earlier this year because it was before the Christmas calendar where one of these beers, or at least a variant of these beers, were present. But Beer Dome, along with numerous web shops around Europe, got Trillium. Trillium, is very hyped. Maybe not as hyped anymore, at least according to what I see online. But a fairly hyped U.S. brewery, mainly known for hazy beers. But they also make fantastic sour beers. They make some really nice barrel-aged stouts and different things. But what they really excel at, in my mind, has been the Unit IPAs, the hazy IPAs, but also strong, high ABV sour beers where they mix around with blurring the line between wine and beer. They've done it so well. There's the Wild Sinister Kit series, which these two are part of, but then there's also Cuvée de Titre, and the first vintage I had of that was like Hunnits. It was amazing. It was just such a crazy marriage between beer and wine. And this is a similar deal. We had in the Christmas calendar one that was one of our favorites, the Wild Sinister Kid with blackcurrant and I think Pinot Noir grapes, aged in red wine barrels and bourbon barrels. And it was really good. I got to revisit it with some pizza not too long ago, where I did the video of Sticky's Pizza, which was, it's some of the best Neapolitan pizza, at least in Aalborg, but possibly in Denmark, at least according to now a few pizza videos or pizza kind of surveys that have been made about finding the best pizza place in Denmark. But that was awesome having it again. So now we're going to crack these two and see how these two vintages are. I'm sharing these with my girlfriend. She really likes sour beers and she loves red wine. She's really gotten into red wine, so I'm really curious to see what she thinks of these. But we're checking out and these are double fruit editions. So we're checking out the double sour cherry and Malbec grape version and the double blackberry and Cabernet grape. Both are 10% aged in red wine and bourbon barrels. Stoked on these, really looking forward to them. I think we should start with the double sour cherry and Malbec, just because Cabernet can be quite a intense grape compared to, well, Malbec can be quite intense too, but I just have a feeling that this might be more robust, also because it's sour cherries, but we'll see. It might not be the case, but let's just start. So the double sour cherry and Malbec grapes. So pours a nice burgundy red color. It could look like a glass of really, really light, like patio red wine. Nice amount of carbonation in there. I can see it streaming a bit. Not a lot of head on this one. A bit more on the other one, but what was there was kind of like reddish, beigeish. It looked somewhat nice. So let's just move the glass over here and stick our nose into it and see if we like it. And besides these, there was tons of other Trillium sour beers. And I think one stout as well, but we only got these because there were so many beers. Let's check out the aroma on it. Oh yeah, it is grapey and it's crazy tannic. Like really, really tannic. It's just smelling like it's like sour cherry and grape skins galore. Like really tannic fruit skin and fruit leather. Like if you've ever had fruit leather, or like when they do like fruit leather or fruit roll-ups, maybe. I think fruit leather is more appropriate. What you have in restaurants where they kind of dry a fruit paste. You have it with dessert. It's almost something like that. There's a tiny whiff of cinnamon, but nothing crazy. But yeah, it's a huge balance between grapes and cherry. And then there's also some vanilla and almond notes. It smells really good. There's a hint of alcohol to it. There's like a slight sharp alcohol note, but it's not too much. These are lightly chilled. Man, it's tannic. It's crazy tannic. I love that. I love tannic, dry, flavors in wine. It smells really good. I love that cinnamon note. Not too much funk. And there's like a little bit of a sweet, kind of slightly fudgy bourbon, but like everything is still dry. That's why it's pretty impressive with these beers. Like it's not necessarily because it's bourbon barrels. It's like fudgy and sweet and crazy. It's like a marriage between robust wine and like a wild ale, as far as I remember, and bourbon barrels, but bourbon barrels is also kind of becoming a thing now in the wine world. I've had a couple bourbon barrel aged wines, and they're actually not that bad. I'm no wine purist expert, by the way, but I thought they were fun to try. But it smells good. Let's try it. Cheers, and thanks to Beer Dome for the beers. Wow, that is crushable. So much more drinkable than what I just had. It is lightly vinegary, but it's nothing compared to what I just had. This is much more balanced. Really nice cinnamony vanilla sour cherry flavor. Nice good carbonation. Dry, oaky, slightly oxidized sherry, port-like vibe. These bottles are from 19, by the way. I think both of them are. Yeah, September 19. So we're close to, uh, yeah, 2 years of age. Fruit is still really dominant though. It's a really nice, really cinnamony, vanilla-y, almondy, sour cherry flavor. And then yeah, you get that cross between like it's like almost like a really fruity red wine mixed with fall spices. It sounds a bit interesting, but it just really works in here. It's not where I'm like totally blown away as I was with Cuvée de Tetro, because I feel like that was even better balanced and maybe a bit more impactful. But it really is totally what they set out to make, like a kind of a hybrid between, uh, you know, wild ale and wine. There's a bit of a marzipan vibe, even hints of caramel. It's really good. And the bourbon is there, but I think that's where some of the caramel comes from. I feel like the wine barrel is a bit more present. That's really good. I think I might have enjoyed the blackcurrant just a little bit more, but this is still damn tasty. So let's jump on to the stronger variant here, or stronger, not stronger, they're the equal ABV, but the double blackberry and Cabernet. I have a feeling that I might like this one a little bit more because I love Cabernet. Cabernet is fantastic. I love like the spiciness of it and like sometimes slightly smokiness of it in big bold red wines. This also looks a bit like richer and denser, but I think it's just because of the color of the berries. It makes you fools you into thinking like it's gonna be more robust and even more intense. But we'll see. I mean, as far as I know, it's a bit more intense grape. But it looks nice. It's slightly more burgundy red than the other one. It was also burgundy red, but this is just a bit more intense. This is a bit more like it's almost like cross between a red and mahogany brown, where this is just even more burgundy red and looking more like a wine. Nice head on this one. Not a lot, but there's a little bit of a bubbly, off-whitish color. Let's check out the aroma on this one. Ooh, yeah. It smells much sweeter, but I think it's just because it's blackberries. Like, there's loads of, like, sweet vanilla caramelly blackberry. And, like, a medium funk, and then underneath it, there's a big blackcurrant flavor, and that's something I often get from Cabernet grapes as well. And, like, a really nice, almost like it's hard to say. It's like spicy grapes or spicy phenolic vibes, like almost like a black pepper or something. It's definitely much more robust. This is more like drinkable and slightly easygoing, if you could say it like that. It just has much more robustness to it. And also, again, that more pronounced sweetness because blackberries usually are a bit sweeter. And not the same level of autumnal spice. And I think that's because it's unique to the cherries. It's more of like that black pepper. And it's almost like slightly leathery and tobacco-like. It also has that fruit leather thing. Again, it's not crazy funky. There's some, but it smells really good. Let's try it. Cheers. Oh yeah, much more robust. Much, much more robust. It's more sour than you expect. It's just you smell sweet blackberry flavors. It's definitely more sour on the palate. I think it's an equal sourness. It's fairly well balanced. It's a little. I don't think it's too sour in any way, shape, or form. But I could use a little less sourness in general. Just it has like a slightly sharp peak of vinegar slash lactic sourness. It fades really quickly. It's not one of these like really lingering ones. But I think both that and that has it, and that's like something I could be a little bit without, but I don't think they're as good as like that first vintage of Cuvée de Tetro. I feel like everything was a bit more well into trying that, and I think it's a mix. It's definitely blackcurrant, I think, and also Cabernet grapes. There's a few. I think there's more than one fruit. I'm not entirely sure. It's just a much more dense beer than both of these, but it's really good. Yeah, I'm loving that spicy leather. I'm totally tasting Cabernet, like leathery, spicy, tobacco, blackcurrant kind of flavors. Almost like a little bit of blueberry as well. And then besides that, there's like a very jammy blackberry flavor, but it's nothing like crazy sweet or anything. And then some of that black peppery spice and like a hint of sweet caramel. But I think like with the grapes and the wine barrel, I feel like the wine barrel shines much more in this, whereas this one it might have been a more mix of both. Like it's definitely you could definitely sense that caramelly bourbon presence, but also the vinous like tannic structures. Yeah, and this is also very tannic. This is how I want sour beers if they have to be strong. I love these kind of wine hybrids. I don't think these are the best I've ever had, but they're really good, and I think they can be so good. And I love how like a lot of lambic producers are playing around with this as well. But it's fun here because they take a berry and then a grape and mash them up because I'd imagine they picked fruits where they find similar characters in the wine grape and mash them up. I think that would be the thought behind this. And then they've done that combo of bourbon and red wine barrel aging, which just works really well. But I love this. Like, this is about loads of different awesome complexities. They might be subtle and not smack you in the face, but there's a lot of things to dig at. It's sophisticated beer, whereas some of the super smooth smoothie and super fruit stuff I've had that's just like kettle sours. It's wow impactful, but it's just simple. It's just pure fruit flavor. It doesn't have any of these layers of complexity that these have. These could have more funk to give even more complexity, but you don't get that in those beers. But I think the reason why they are so popular is because they're so approachable. And I should stop nagging on those kind of beers because I feel like I do that all the time when I end up talking about fruit kind of beers at the moment. Because they serve a purpose, and especially for a lot of people, it's one of the best gateways into craft beer. I'm thinking at the moment because it's something everyone will like. But for these, I definitely say my favorite is the Wild Sinister Kid with double blackberry and Cabernet grapes, just because I love Cabernet, and I think I'm loving these like leathery, charry, tannic, spicy flavors in this one. I love those flavors in wine. Almost like slightly charry, woody. Like those kind of flavors are awesome, and I think they suit the beer really well. Lots of layer of complexity, and not saying that this is much less complex, but it's just got less of what I love in beers like this. Yeah, they're nice. I don't think they're world class, but they're really, really nice. I'm gonna score this one like a 94, and then a 93 for the other one. So double blackberry and Cabernet 94 and 93 for double sour cherry and Malbec grapes. Like if you love wine inspired and robust red wine inspired sour beers, this is something you have to check out. And I think you might still be able to find these in Europe because there was a lot of it over here. So go look because I'm pretty sure Beer Dome doesn't have any more. But yeah, awesome stuff. If you guys had a chance to try these, let me know what you thought of them. If you love these kind of beers, as I said, they're a must check out if you love these kind of hybrids. Otherwise, there's quite a few other breweries like doing similar things. De Garde has done a few, and Mikler has done a few, and of course a lot of the lambic makers like Cantillon is doing them, and Les Fontaine and Tommy Chef. And there's so many. Like there's definitely something you can explore. And I have a few that will be really interesting to try. Some that some of you guys recommend. Some of the new ones from Les Fontaine. And so if you guys had either of these, let me know what you thought of them. As always, remember to comment, subscribe, check out the Facebook fan page and Twitter and Instagram. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Ring the bell for future notifications about videos, and check out Beer Dome. Link for their shop is down below. And before we end this, let's do a quick cuvee in the mouth. Not bad. But they kind of almost cancel each other out. You get less complexity. Like it's almost like this kind of very fruity, cinnamony, whatever flavors in here cancel out the flavors in here. Like it's almost like they cancel out each other a bit. They're definitely better on their own. So there you go. Cheers. And see you guys in another beer review.